Hello everyone, I all hope you had a very wonderful day and a very beautiful day. I'm very quietly sorry about yesterday's shooting with the episode in the middle of it when the camera just went off. It was because something came on the video and it interrupted me while I was exactly shooting. So that for that guys, I'm gratefully truly sorry, and I'm very quite fully sorry for the inconvenience that you guys exactly had to deal with my camera going off like that. It wasn't quite the planned or anything like that. It's because of something exactly came on the camera, and I had to remove it, which exactly created two videos of two episodes, but it was exactly the same episodes in those videos. So guys, I'm gratefully sorry. I'm truly sorry. So please understand that if it exactly comes up again today, I will exactly apologize again for the next for the episode and for the interruption, and I'll exactly continue forming the next episode, forming the episode that I'm exactly doing as for today exactly. So, guys, on today's episode, we're here to talk about the most powerful dark witch who ever lived for many centuries ago. Many centuries ago, the most powerful dark witch known as Darkron and her sisters are the most powerful dark witches ever existed in the entire sacred universe for many centuries ago. Many centuries ago, Darkron and her dark sisters wanted to steal magical powers and magical energy and magical powers from the magic schools and from the magic schools and from the magic worlds. Darkron exactly created a powerful magical ancient dark temple within the dark moon, using it as her central headquarters for to exactly operate from. During at that time, Darkron exactly began her mission in stealing magical energies, in stealing magical energies and magic energy itself exactly. In doing so, her and her sister traveled against the magical world and against the magical universes, which they exactly been doing for many centuries ago, and is exactly still continuing this mission that she exactly began. It's still exactly mysteriously continuing. Darkron believes that all that energy and all that power she will use all that power and all that energy in order to power up her ancient temple, and also the Dark Moon, where she uses it as a central headquarters for it to exactly operate from with her and her sisters and communicate with the other dark druids and the other dark magic users known as the Dark Warlocks and the Dark Witches and the Dark Fairy Witches and the Dark Faithful and the Dark Druids and also the other Dark Witch and also another group of Dark Witches which she exactly been able to communicate with. Many centuries ago, Darkron began her mission. Darkron began her mission in extracting magic energy and also wild magic energy itself on other magical worlds. She and her sister traveled within a central hub, within the central headquarters of the sacred laboratory where they experiment with shadow energy and all that power and capacity. During at that travel, Darkon created a huge dark machine. She created a huge dark machine called the Darkness Machine, capable of extracting magic energy and energy itself across other magic worlds. The magical beings and the other good magic warlocks and other magic users fought back against Darkron and his sisters. Darkron proved too powerful as she used the teleportation power and her dark magic to wipe out the inhabitants with the dark magic abilities. Together with her sister, they put their hands together like this as they hold on tightly together and form a unity of converging their dark magic and their power to destroy the other magic users, which were successfully able to exactly doing so. In doing so, they could combine their dark magic with science as well, in order to extract and absorb the magic energy from the magic crystals, which they were successfully able to exactly doing, which they were successful. They were very quite successful in exactly doing that. Exactly, they extracted all the magic energy and all the magic powers from the crystal. The magic users who watched bravely, who are watching so sadly, were quietly devastated and losing all the magic powers and all the magic abilities. The other magic warlocks decided to attack Darkron and the rest of her sisters, which were able to exactly do so. They launched with their magical powers and their magic abilities in order to attack Darkron. Darkron was able to defend the base. Darkron was able to defend the central command base of a central hub of her sacred laboratory with a dark magic shield able to protect themselves from the magical attacks. But Darkron's other sister, known as Darkness, became more aggressive. She's more aggressive and more thirsty for battle and more thirsty for battle and more thirsty for revenge. She launched her dark magic energy and her dark magic powers against the other magic users, which was able to eviscerate them with her magical abilities. Darkron was bravely impressed with her sister's power and her ferocity and her aggressiveness and her ferocity in wiping out the other magic users. In doing so, she told her and her sisters that it's time for them to retreat in the middle of space, with a central headquarters, in the middle of space with a central command ship in outer space that were able to exactly combine shadow energy and all the other magic energy that were able to extract with all the magic energy, with all the magic energy and all the magic powers were able to extract from magic crystals in order to creating a powerful dark crystal with the energy that were able to extract from the other magical worlds and from the other magical schools. Darkron began experimenting with shadow energy, creating powerful destructive weapons and technology for the Shadow Empire and for its commanders, and supplying them straightly to another ancient secret society of supervillains known as the Order of the Five, that decides the fate of humanity and that wants to rule and conquer all the worlds. In doing so, Darkron decided to become the supplier and associate of the Order of the Five in helping them fulfill their goals and their plans in ruling humankind and in ruling the known universe, and also controlling the sacred world and the sacred universe. In that way exactly, it will also benefit her in extracting and harvesting all the shadow energy and all the powers and all the magical powers and abilities from other magic worlds and other magic schools across sacred existence, which is exactly was her top plan and her top priority. Darkron was quietly pleased with this ferocity and quietly pleased with the experiments and everything else. She began even creating more technology and more destructive technology for her brother Pete. Her brother Pete is a powerful supervillain and a deadly assassin. She kept on supplying him and his forces with more technology and more destructive technology in order for them to assassinate the Foundation Hunter consuls and other members of the other consuls. Lytros was able to pick up on the last attack on Darkron's last attack on the other magical schools, and was able to exactly report back from the other was able to get the report back from the other magical warlocks stating that Darkron exactly launched a heavy attack on them and she was able to be victorious. The other magical warlocks stated that Darkron is too powerful, too deadly, and too disruptive. Her and her sisters became more powerful and more deadly than ever. According to the other magical warlocks from the other magical schools that were able to report to Lytros, they told her that Darkron was quietly orbiting within the central command of a warship, able to exactly operate from a warship. And according to them, her warship is quietly traveling in space, and that's all they were able to exactly get. Lytros decided to take a group of light hunters and a group of other magic users to launch an assault on Darkron's central command, which meaning her central command is her central ship where it houses her secret laboratory, But she has another sacred command. Which is a dark moon and a dark temple where she quietly keeps them hidden, and she maintains her individual basis of operations for her to exactly operate and continue experiments, so that her enemies or adversaries won't know exactly where she's operating from, where she's quite operating from. But the other basis is quite well known throughout the sacred universe and throughout the known universe. So anyway, Lytros began her assault on Darkron's central command, able to exactly destroying Darkron's machines and her work. And Lytros was able to use her full magical powers and her full magical abilities in attacking Darkron. Darkron also launched her dark magical abilities and her dark powers, and together their attack and their powers were locked on like this. They were literally locked on like this. Both of them quietly realized that they were bothly evenly matched against each other. They were evenly matched, and Darkron was quietly disappointed at this, saying that this is impossible, that Lytros has gained more magical powers and more powerful magical abilities Lytris was able to defeat Darkron, and by doing so, she destroyed her laboratory. She snapped her powerful hands on the ground of her secret laboratory and destroyed everything within her laboratory, within her secret laboratory. Darkron and her sisters were forced to retreat. Darkron told her sisters that it's time for them to exactly retreat and get the hell out of here. They teleported themselves out. Lytris and the other forces were also told to retreat and effectively retreating, which they exactly did so. The entire sacred command of Darkron's sacred laboratory was destroyed, meaning a huge explosion came out as indicating of dark magic, blew up as in literally blew up across space, literally blew up across sacred space, and the entire magical and the other magical warlocks were able to watch through the monitors as Darkron's secret layer her sacred command has been destroyed. Her asteroid base, where she was literally operating from in space, had been destroyed by Lytris and the rest of her team. And they were quietly pleased and they were successfully happy. All the magic and all the energy had successfully returned to its rightful owners and to its rightful leaders. In doing so, the inhabitants were quietly happy, stating that Lytris and her team did a very, very, very good work and a very, very good job, stating that they'll become allies to her and her team of heroes, and they'll exactly work with the Intergalactic Coalition to restore peace and balance. Lytris exactly gave her word that she will exactly stop Darkron and any other powerful dark magic users who dare threaten the sacred peace and the sacred balance that they were trying to protect, no matter what. Darkron was able to teleport through her real central headquarters, which was a dark moon, which houses her dark temple. Her and her sisters were able to teleport through the temple, enter within the temple, and they were quietly disappointed and quietly very angry. One other Shadow Empire warlord was able to exactly meet up with them, telling them the progress of her plan was quietly doomed from the very beginning when it was started, because Lytris became too powerful and too deadly and too destructive for her to exactly face. Darkron said that to the warlock that she was quietly well aware that Lytris has grown too powerful and too deadly and too technically and too smart and too decisive, meaning attacking her face to face will not exactly work. Darkron started telling the other Shin Empire warlord that she'll begin her operations within another planet in order to extract more power and more energy. In doing so, she'll be forced to working with the other dark magic users known as a group of dark warlocks, a group of powerful dark evil warlocks who are led by Pete, who are called the Order of Magic. Darkron exactly formed an alliance with the Order of Magic because they share a common goal and a common enemy. In doing so together, Pete exactly shook hands with Darkron, stating that their partnership will be stronger and will be powerful. They'll supply each other with more powerful dark crystals and more powerful dark energy, where they were able to exactly speak on Darkron's central headquarters. And Darkron was quietly pleased and very successfully happy. The Dark Druids and the Dark Witches and the Dark Faithful were able to meet up with Darkron on her dark temple, telling her that it's time for them to begin their next experiment notation. They already created another central headquarters hub in order for them to exactly focus on, and this time the energy or magic will never be tracked by Lytris or any other powerful light magic users or the Light Druids or any one of the other universal magic heroes. And Darkron was successfully pleased. On that time, on the 5th of May, on the planet atmosphere, the Dark Druids began their ritual and their power and their energy, combining science and magic, using it together to extract shadow energy and light magic from other worlds and other planets. They extracted and harvested all the energy and all the magic from other worlds and other planets, destroying the planet and living it by dead and dry and unbarbaric, living by death and destruction on its mark. And Darkron was successfully pleased, saying that the Dark Druids and the Dark Witches successfully exactly did the impossible for her, and she was quietly delighted and quietly satisfied with this work and with this result, meaning that her plans are coming to fruition one way or another. Universal Magica was able to detect a powerful energy of dark magic being at work within her central headquarters, and she told the Universal Magic heroes that it's time for them to exactly investigate the origin of this. They were able to investigate the origin, seeing a dead planet being being harvested of all energy and all magical energy in life. The other magic users told Magic Girl that this energy came out of nowhere. This dark magic energy came on top of the planet and was able to harvest all the light energy and all the light magic. And Magic Girl asked the inhabitants what could exactly do this. The inhabitants said that they had no idea exactly what caused this destruction, and they never seen any, and they never and they never seen anything like this ever before, meaning ever before. Back on Darkron's layer on her other on her other layer, Darkron began tapping into shadow energy, using its power in order to make her more immortal and more powerful. Her and her sisters converge with her. Darkron remained in the middle because she's the eldest. She's the eldest and she's the leader of the Dark Witches. Her and her sisters set by her sides, as together they converge, and the shadow energy came down, raining down on them, blasting them, filling them with more power and more immortality and more dark abilities than ever before, making them more powerful and more immortal. And doing so, Darkron even saw a powerful provision of a dark world where she can exactly focus her work and her liberation at. In doing so, Darkron exactly teleported to that dark world, and she began creating dark crystals and dark powerful temples and dark cities for civilization. And the dark powerful warlock leader known as Pete was able to teleport himself, saying that this is exactly the perfect place for them to exactly begin the experiment notations and everything else, meaning that this dark world will exactly make the next central headquarters in the hub for them to exactly operate from, which is exactly they've been doing. During at that time, Darkron and his sisters created powerful destructive technology and powerful destructive cybernetics and prosthetics for the Shadow Empire warlords and commanders, which they've been excessively able to give them more technology. Warlord Power was able to come to Darkron's aid in order to ask her to supply her with more destructive technology and more power. Darkron persistently agreed, saying that she will exactly supply the Shadow Empire. Darkron exactly didn't understand what Warlord Power mean. Warlord Power meant supplying him and his ancient secret society of supervillains known as the Order of Justice. Darkron was quite very skeptical as learning that what the hell is the Order, or what is the Order of Justice. Warlord Power told her that the Order of Justice is led by a powerful supervillain and a powerful Dark Formation hunter known as Zuko. He will return to restore order and balance to the sacred world and to the sacred universe, and he will wipe out all the supernatural creatures and all the aliens that poses a threat to the sacred peace and to the natural order, and as well to the sacred balance that they exactly pose. Darkron was quietly pleased with this and decided that she will supply the Order of Justice with more destructive technology and more cybernetics and prosthetics for the agents and for the enforcers, which is exactly doing so. During at that time, Darkron began experimenting with creatures and animals and more powerful creatures and more powerful beings, turning them into monsters, into ferocious monsters, in order for them to conquer vast worlds and vast planets for herself. And in doing so, Darkron created a dark powerful dark magic ball at the center of the planet, at the center of the dark planet, where she was able to use the dark magic and the power in order to infuse with it for herself and also for her sisters, which were able to fuse with it, making them more powerful and making them more deadly and more immortal than ever, giving them more intelligence, speeding up the intelligence, and also in giving them the power of telekinesis and the power of resurrection, the power of summoning, the power of creation, the power of mind reading, the power of teleportation, opening portals, combining dark magic with dark technology, with science and dark crystals, and with all those gifts and inherited powers the dark magic was able to give them exactly. She even exactly gave some of the power, shared some of the dark power with Dark Warlord Pete and his group of Dark Warlocks. Together they all became more powerful and more deadly. In doing so, Warlord Pete sensed that he had to exactly go and begin his next operation. He'll exactly leave Darkron behind. Darkron was quietly satisfied and very quietly pleased with this. During at that time, Darkron meditated on a dark crystal room with her powers and with her abilities in order to sense what was happening in the sacred universe and in the sacred world. She sensed there was war, power, destruction as the Shadow Empire warlords and commanders fought against the Intergalactic Coalition, against the Universal Heroes, and she even sensed and saw Red Bolt. She saw Red Bolt sitting at the Shadow Empire throne room. She saw him sitting at the Shadow Empire throne room, like leading the Shadow Empire, while the new Lord of Magic and his secret society were exactly leading the Shadow Empire from the shadows. She sensed that there's going to be a huge sacred galactic conflict coming sooner rather than later, and she knew that this sacred galactic conflict would decide the fate of the sacred universe and of the sacred world and of humanity and of the universal heroes and the universal earth heroes and the intergalactic coalition and the united heroes and the world heroes. Darkron decided it's time that she speed up her operation. She sped up her operation and her works and her creation as soon as possible. Darkron began experimenting on an innocent creature, which by turning it into a ferocious and hideous abomination, by combining it with shadow energy and dark magic, in order to send the creature through another planet, in order to conquer that planet. The creature exactly arrived on the planet's surface and exactly wreaked havoc with the other magic users. The other magic users tried to fight off the other dark creature, but they were unsuccessful, unable to fight it off. Luckily, because Universal Magica was in the area, her no Universal Magic heroes were quietly in the area. They were able to one up the creature and able to exactly destroy it with their light magic and with their ability. But by detection of by sensing the creature's energy, she detected that there was dark magic and science all around it, and it was quietly combined and more powerful than ever it has ever before. Light magic, universal magical began to question the inhabitants, the magical inhabitants, exactly what was the meaning of this creature to attack the planet. All they said that they had no idea exactly this creature was trying to attack the planet or any other reason. Darkron was able to watch through her magical bubble, that the creature exactly performed well and admirably, and she was quietly pleased and satisfied with the work of her creation, that it was able to successfully able to pull off, and she wasn't quietly disappointed. In doing so, Darkron met with the Dark Druids on the seventh on the seventh of on the seventh on the seventh on the seventh of May, telling them that her work with them is quietly pleasing and very quietly well, meaning that it's time for them to begin upping their levels and their attack on the other worlds and attacking the Intergalactic Coalition. And they exactly began launching an assault on the Intergalactic Coalition scouts and base. The Dark Druids and the Dark Witches and the Dark Faithful launched their dark magic and abilities against Intergalactic Coalition forces, and they scouted Intergalactic Coalition and Intergalactic Coalition scouts, and their forces were forced to fight back. They didn't exactly anticipate or predicted that there will be an ambush coming or exactly see an ambush coming, but they were exactly able to fight back. The Dark Druids and the Dark Witches decimated all their forces, and the other members of the Intergalactic Coalition that were successfully able to decimate the Dark Druids and the Dark Witches, and some of them were able to teleport away. The base wasn't quietly not under the control of the Intergalactic Coalition. It was now under the control of the Dark Druids and of the Dark Witches, who successfully won the battle. One Dark Druid was able to teleport to Darkron's base, telling him that the base of the Intergalactic Coalition now belongs to them. Darkron told one of her sisters to go in that base and transform it into a dark crystal temple in order for the Dark Druids to operate from, which is exactly what her sister went to teleport herself into that base, turn the entire planet into a dark crystal planet, creating a base for them to exactly operate from, merging it with the planet's rocks and temple, able to create a dark crystal temple for them to exactly operate from. And she even created a dark magical power orb and placed it at the center of the planet in order for the Dark Druids and the Dark Witches and the Dark Faithful and the Ice Druids and the Ice Witches to tap into that power and to its energy, in order for them to tap into that power and the energy for them to gain more power and more speed. Ever before, Darkron's sister was successfully pleased, known as Darkness. She was successfully pleased and very quietly happy with this result, and she was very quietly happy. She and the other Dark Druids converged and began combining the Dark Orb and the Dark Orb's dark magic power to themselves, exactly merging in with themselves and exactly fusing with the Dark Orb's energy with themselves, able to exactly become more powerful and more deadly. One Light Hunter was exactly present, able to exactly fight up against Darkron's sister, but the other Dark Druids, but one Dark Druid was able to successfully terminate him and remove him out of the way. In doing so, the Dark Druid absorbed his light energy and his power, making him nothing, leaving him nothing but lifeless, leaving the body nothing but lifeless and death owning itself. In doing so, one Dark Druid became more powerful and more deadly, inheriting the power of super speed and super strength. And Darkron's sister was successfully pleased and very quietly satisfied with this. She was able to meet with her sister within the central headquarters known as the Dark Temple Crystal, and told her sister that everything else is going according to plan. But Darkron was able to watch through a magical bubble that Red Bolt and his secret society have taken control of the Shadow Empire, and the new Lord of Magic is quietly still rising from the shadows, willing to exactly take control of the Shadow Empire, telling her sister that they should prepare themselves for war and for intergalactic, meaning that all the power, meaning they should exactly inherit all the power and all the sacred galactic powers for themselves now.